Hey guys, how's it going? He's back.
Ta-da!
Okay, so we're sitting in the gazebo. Brent just installed some misters, so you might hear a little hissing sound and you might see wafts of water come in here. It's just hot out, and so it's really nice to have the misters. And Sadie is laying in the mister. She's soaking wet now, but we're just going to let her do it. She just is enjoying the water. So
She's happy.
she's very, very happy. She's like white because of all the water. And then she just moved her foot and it was like dry underneath her. So it's going to look like there's like a dog body when she gets up and we go inside. Last week's videos were the Q&A that we did first. And then we did the prettiest thing in the greenhouse. Then we did, well, that turned out to be a pretty productive day, which was when the table came. And then we did garden jobs and tiny garden bouquets. And then after that, we did our garden tour. And then we also did redesigning the greenhouse entry. And it's so much better now. We don't trip all over everything to get into the greenhouse. It's really nice. Better. So the first video that we did last week was how did we get jumping worms and why am I not using the auger, which was the video on this channel, our Q&A.
And the first question was from Kathy. And she said, great to see Brent. Can you angle your camera so we can enjoy the hummingbirds, please?
Good to see you. He's so nervous. Okay, so this hummingbird feeder we actually just refilled. Brent just refilled it. And so they usually aren't super active when we pull them. There might be like one or two that come. Next week, we will make sure that we don't refill it. We pull our questions live. We don't like pre-pull our questions. So next week, we will angle the camera better so that way you guys can actually see the hummingbird feeder. Maybe we could even like move it over next time a little bit.
Yeah, that's fine. It only takes
no,
about 45 minutes.
We can't move it over because I have a vine growing up.
Oh, that's right. You have the morning glory growing right up it.
Next week, we will make sure that the camera is angled so you guys can see the hummingbirds better, though.
Yeah. There's half a dozen over there.
I can show you those ones. There's a few of them over. Oh, there's only two now, of course. Oh, gosh, the mist. What is happening?
Oh,
see, there's a couple of them over there.
Hummingbird fight. Oh.
So we have a few of them over there, and then we have another hummingbird feeder over there. And then this one here, and I'm sure that they'll be active on it by the time we finish the Q&A.
Yes. Okay, the next question is from Aiza, and she said, thank you so much for sharing your garden. Can you please share all the details that you can on the weeping willow? Age, ground footprint that it occupies, how wide the canopy is, etc. Anything that you can think of to share. I've got one, but I can't commit to the location due to the size it may grow to. Your tree is stunning.
So we have a weeping willow. Ours is 6 years old now, huh?
Yeah.
So it's 6 years old. I don't know how big ours is right now, but weeping willow trees, they can get anywhere from like 30 to 50 feet tall and wide. Ours is probably 25 feet tall.
Yeah, 25, 30.
Yeah, so it's like on the smaller size of mature. They grow really, really fast. And then when they get to that mature size, they kind of just like really slow down, but they'll get there really, really quickly. How wide do you think ours is?
Oh, it's probably 35 feet wide.
Okay.
In some places, yeah.
Yeah. So ours is creeping up to about, it could get bigger, but I honestly believe that ours will get bigger because of how much water we give it. They also do drop branches. So, I mean, you don't want to plant it near your house. You don't want to plant it near a sewer system. You don't want to plant it near a septic. You don't want to plant it near leach lines. Foundations. It kind of like, that's why ours is at the very, very back of our property. It's the furthest away from our septic tank, our leach lines. It's as far away from our house as it can possibly get. And it's also far enough away from power lines that we won't have to worry about it touching any power lines. So 30 to 50 feet tall, and they need as much water as you can possibly give them.
And the last question is from Joy, and she asked, would your birds eat jumping worms if you gave them to them?
Our birds would not eat them. Our birds really only eat grain. They eat like millet. That's pretty much all they really eat. They don't eat sunflower seeds. They don't eat fruit. We've tried giving them fruit before. They don't like that. They don't eat like leaves or spinach or lettuce. They are like grain only, but no, they won't eat the worms. And honestly, even if we did try to give them the worms and they were eating worms, like even if we had chickens and we tried giving the chickens the worms, you run the risk of the chickens not eating the worms or getting the worms in time, and then you get jumping worms in that area. So I don't think it's worth it. I think the only responsible thing to do with jumping worms is to bag them or smush them.
Yeah.
And that's it.
as gruesome as that sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the next video was the prettiest thing in the greenhouse. And the first question is from Christine. And she asked, instead of 3 chandeliers, what about ceiling fans on either side of the one you just have? Just a thought.
I actually did think about that. It's been really nice this summer, so it hasn't been super hot. And I just have like a little fan in there right now, and that's been working really, really great. Mm-hmm. And there's so much airflow because we have it with 5 vents, and the doors have vents on the doors also. So that alone has also helped with airflow. And then just having the little fan has been great. If we see, we have a couple days that are going to hit like 105. And so we'll see how those days goes. I know that like this year has been so crazy. It's like super cloudy out right now. And we haven't hit like 105 is the hottest that we've hit this summer. Usually we're at like 115 during the summer. And so it's been a cool summer for us. And so I don't want to put a fan in that's permanent right now. But if I see that it gets hot next summer, then I will think about definitely putting in like 2 small fans on both sides to help with that airflow. I think that, I do think it would be smart.
Yeah, definitely doable, and it might be a nice help to the ventilation.
Yeah.
And the next question is from Karen, and she asked, love your gardens and greenhouse. Question, do you think the jumping worms could have been in the dirt or compost you used in your jelly bean beds?
I will actually be talking about that later this week. We have a theory of where the jumping worms came from. We kind of like really tried to sit down and like pinpoint where they came from, and I think that we kind of figured it out. So I talk about that later this week on the other channel. But it was not from the soil that we got at the compost yard. That soil, it happened before that. And that soil, I've pulled 1 jumping worm from near where the Willow was, and that's it. I haven't seen a jumping worm in there since. So it's definitely not from that soil.
Yeah. And the next question from MM. Very, very pretty effect. Your comment about wanting 3 chandeliers. Instead, have you tried having your beautiful chandelier hang a bit lower for a more visual impact?
I actually had it lower. I had it a lot lower.
Yeah.
And because there's a bar above the doors to make it so that the door doesn't like sag, the chandelier would have to be really low to be able to see it, and then it looks really weird. So this is that where it's at is like the only spot that it would actually work. If I had gotten a different greenhouse, which is what BC Greenhouse kind of like recommended to me, was to get a different greenhouse, and I didn't listen. The other one has a much like steeper slope on the roof, and so you would be able to like see more. There's more roof. It's a longer roof, and so you'd be able to see the chandelier a lot better. But I was like, I like this one. And in person, it's so much better. You can see the chandelier perfectly in person. It's on camera. Everything looks smaller. And like I see the greenhouse on camera, and even the greenhouse looks small on camera. And then we're in person. I'm like, this is not a small greenhouse. It is like, it's 10 foot by 12 foot.
Right.
And it's huge. And it's not even 10 foot by 12 foot. It's bigger than that. It's like 10 foot something by almost 13 feet. It's not small at all. But on camera, I'm like, it just looks so tiny in person.
Right.
But the chandelier is, in person, the right height.
Yeah. With a steeper sloped roof, the roof would be higher, of course, and the chandelier would be more visible through the roof. But it would also block the crepe myrtle too.
Yeah, it would block the
So
crepe
you'd
myrtle,
see
which was
the
kind of
crepe
important.
myrtle less, and which for a month or 2 out of the year, it's really important.
Crepe myrtle is really
It's
important
beautiful.
to be able to see. Yeah.
And the last question is from Cheryl, and she said, "Beautiful garden, love the garden center visit. Question: how do you make your lemon cypress look so perfectly cone-shaped? And do you tie back floppy limbs? Do you also trim back the stragglers? I have a tree about a year old, and I want to shape it, but I'm at a loss at what to do. Thank you."
So for the lemon cypress, I don't do any shaping to it. I literally have not touched that thing. So if you have a lemon cypress that maybe has shot out a wonky branch or something like that, I would first try tying it back into it before you shape it. I know some people who do shape them, and they make great topiaries, so you can totally trim on them as long as you just continue to let your main leader grow. But if you have one that's like shooting out really far, I might trim that one. We haven't had that. Ours also is in full sun. So where it's at, gets full morning sun on the front of it, and then the back of it does get that afternoon sun. So it's in a full sun situation, and I think that helps. So you have to make sure that it's getting enough sun.
And the next video was, well, that turned out to be pretty productive. And the first question was from Pamela, and she asked, why not add clover or other grass alternatives, and very much the cottage vibes?
I actually tried to add clover to the garden once. I love clover lawns. They were like all over when I was growing up, and so I wanted to add clover into our garden, and it did not take at all. We actually have one very small patch that it took, and that one small patch where it took is where we plan to pour a concrete foundation for the patio. So I love the looks of them. I think they're very cottagey, plus I like that they have flowers and feed the bees. A lot of people think they're a weed. We tried once. Like I bought I think it was like $50 or $60 worth of this clover seed because I wanted to do a clover lawn instead of lawn, and it did not take at all.
Well, clover's nice to walk on, but we only have a 1 foot by 4 foot patch, so it doesn't really do much.
So I'm not trying again because now we have lawn and it works for the area that we need it for.
And the next question is from Sky, and she said, quick question, why do you not feed the birds during the growing season?
So we feed our birds, like the outside birds, like all the what are they, like the finches that are not in a cage. We feed them during the winter time and then during the springtime. And we'll feed them a little bit in the fall time, towards kind of the end of fall, right before we get into winter time. But we don't feed them during summertime and beginning of fall time because there's so much food for them right now. We have sunflowers that have already faded, and I see them eating the sunflowers out of the sunflowers that have faded. So I want them to forage, and I want them to find that food, and I want them to eat that stuff rather than relying during the season when there is an abundance of food. I want them to rely on being able to forage a little bit, and then we'll feed them, make sure that there's plenty enough food during the wintertime, which it's Northern California. There's plenty enough food, honestly, year-round without us feeding them. But we do like to supplement during the slower months of food for them.
Yeah, even during the winter, they're not going to starve.
They're not going to starve here.
There's no issue at all. We just don't want them to become dependent on that one copper feeder, right?
Yeah.
So they're fine. There's so much here. And the last question is from Cindy, and she asked, what about drainage in the champagne bucket for the ivy? Will that be a problem?
If you are somebody who tends to overwater, yes, it will be a problem. We have multiple containers inside our house that don't have drainage, and I actually prefer for houseplants inside our house to not have drainage. That way the water doesn't disperse, and it buys us actually a couple extra days. We've gotten really good about learning how much water containers need depending on their size. And so I think we have 3 or 4 planters inside that don't have any drainage, and those ones are the ones that look the best because they require us to water them less. We can go a week without watering them, where the ones that have drainage need water 2 times a week sometimes. Even the ones without drainage, we can actually usually go probably 2 weeks without watering them, honestly. But anything else that has drainage needs water at minimum once a week. So we prefer containers inside the house, and smaller things like that ivy that I know is going to be a little more hands-off to not have drainage. But if you are somebody who struggles with overwatering your plants and you're not able to identify how heavy a container is and how heavy it should be, then I would probably drill a hole into something.
We're just so terrible about watering indoors. All of our indoor plants, they suffer. I remember to water them when I see a water bottle or a glass that has water in it and it's sitting on the counter. I'm just going to give this to you. And I got to go outside again.
Yeah. I don't know, houseplants don't do it for us. So we've gotten really good at containers that don't have drainage. And those are the ones that look the best. The ones that struggle are the ones that have drainage holes for us. Super weird.
And the next video was garden jobs and tiny bouquets. And the first question is from Nate and Randy's garden. They had said, the flower arrangements are beautiful. Question, why is there a cow on your back porch?
Okay, so if you haven't watched any of my shorts that I've posted, And if you haven't watched anything that I've posted over on Instagram, you don't know about the cow. So I decided one night that I needed to order this inflatable cow suit. And it's kind of been a huge hit. I love it. Everyone thinks it's funny. Some of my friends have even showed up and tried the cow suit on. And so I have an inflatable cow suit. And sometimes I dance to music in an inflatable cow suit because that's fitting for my personality. And then it gets really hot in the cow suit. And I just kind of like take it off and I just throw it. Sometimes it's in this chair. Sometimes it's on the back porch. It's now inside. Brent put it away. Because we filmed the garden tour. So he put it away for the garden tour.
Right. But it was featured in your sister's wedding.
It was at my sister's wedding. My sister wore it at my other sister's wedding. She came out on the dance floor to Chapel Roan's Pink Pony Club dancing in the cow suit with a glow stick. So the cow suit has gotten a lot of miles. It's been one of my better purchases, if we're being honest. I highly recommend getting an inflatable cow suit if you want to be talked about. Maybe not in a good way.
Are you going to be in the video? The next question is from Sue, and she asked, are you still cutting hair in the off time? Did I hear you correctly? Stunning flower arrangements.
I am not cutting hair in the off time. I have like 2 families and 1 family friend that I cut, and that is it. So because they all live half-hour away, and so it has to be like worth my time to like travel half an hour. So I've got a lot of clients who've asked me like, hey, can you come cut my hair? And like I've done it for somebody who's like getting married or like special occasions or things like that, but I am not actively cutting hair. The families that I cut, it's a family of like 5 that I cut, or the other family that I cut, it's like a family of 6. So it has to be worth it for me to like drive half-hour down, set up, bring all my tools, clean up all my tools there, and then drive half-hour back. So yeah. And I'm not looking to take on anybody else. So no, I'm not cutting hair in my off time. There is almost no off time, which is crazy because I don't know. I honestly don't know how I was doing this while working a full-time job.
Right.
I don't know how I was doing it. Yeah. I mean, there was no days off.
Yeah, that's why there was no time.
And it is nice because I was able to go to like Tahoe with a friend. I lost my wedding ring.
Oh yeah. That's something.
In my off time. Okay. I'm actually really sad about it. I cried last night. I didn't tell you this. Last night I might have just been a little emotional. Okay, so I was in Tahoe with a friend. And we took our kids up to the lake for the day or whatever, and we were all hanging out. And we rented these like paddle boards, and we took photos on the paddle boards. And then we get to the restaurant, and I'm like, my ring is gone. And yeah, so my wedding ring is gone. And I have since ordered a new wedding ring from Amazon. This one was like $20.
Oh, I thought it was 7.
I want to say it was 12. I don't know. It was under $20, I think, for this ring. And so I now have a $7 to $12 wedding ring.
But it looks fancy.
It does look fancy. I'm already getting a lot of compliments on it, but I am really sad that I have this CZ $7 to $12 wedding ring.
The other one's
I'll put a link to it in the description down below. And my other one is in the bottom of the lake. Yeah, so that is unfortunate. But I do have free time now. I just lose my wedding ring in my free time.
And the last question is from Kelly. And she had asked, I planted some rose bushes in the spring in the garden. How long until mine look as lush and as full as yours?
I mean, I don't think mine look lush and full. This has been a rough year for our roses for some reason. But usually it's about a year. So most of our roses are planted like a year old. We've got what is that one?
The silver lining?
No, the itsy
Oh, the itsy bitsy peach?
Yeah. We have the itsy bitsy peach one over there. That one's only been on the ground for like a little over a year now. That one's beautiful. We have Desdemona in our driveway. I think that one's like 3 years old, but it's been in a container its entire life.
And it looked terrible for months and months and months. And then fertilized it, watered it, and gave it a little extra attention. Yeah, and boom!
Roses grow really quick. So if you planted them in the springtime, I I don't know, honestly, like usually same year.
Yeah.
They look decent, but
Yeah.
rule of thumb is like usually like a year for roses, and then they start to look really good. But I mean, honestly, within that first year, I expect blooms in it to like start to look pretty good. But in fall time, when it defoliates, you can do a little bit of shaping if you need to on it. We have to defoliate all of our roses, so we pull off all the leaves and everything off of it, so that way they get a little break. And we usually do that sometime in like December, January.
And our next video was Little Cottage Garden Tour. And the first question is from Sandy. She had said, "Hi Robbie, I always love your garden tours. Question, are your pink columbines planted in full sun? I keep forgetting to ask. I hope you'll answer this. It's a shame that your gardens are being attacked by so many things, but it's amazing how beautiful everything looks. You and Brent have accomplished so much in a short time. Thank you for sharing."
That was actually really sweet. Okay, so columbine. Ours is planted in full morning sun. So it gets sun until about noon-ish in our area. I would not plant it in any afternoon sun, morning sun only. And yeah, it does suck that our garden has been attacked. It's been like the roughest year in our garden, which is crazy because our garden looks the best that it's ever looked, which is really weird.
But it's taken so much more.
It's taken so much more. Like we've got the petunias, the not Bermuda Beach, the persimmon ones. They look so bad all of a sudden. I'm like 70% sure that like a gopher, I said a mofer, a gopher or a mole, a mofer, one of the two, came in and like ate the roots or something like that on the petunias, because we're having to set up an umbrella, and it's not even a hot day today. And we're having to like, I mean, it's a hot day, but it's not like...
Yeah, it was 99 today.
Yeah, it was 100 degrees today, basically. And we're having to set up an umbrella for it, and we should never have to set up an umbrella for a petunia at 100 degrees.
Right.
They should be able to perform no problems. And so I don't know exactly what's going on in our garden, but yeah, lots of pests.
Yeah.
Lots of issues.
Yeah, the petunia went from perfect to bad in one afternoon. So.
And somebody on the garden tour said that I sure do complain a lot. I don't try to complain a lot. I try to be very, very real.
To be honest.
I'm not going to like not show you guys something and be like, oh no, it's fine. Everything's fine. Like, this looks like trash, and this is why it looks like trash. And I'm not complaining. I'm all for things dying in the garden, and I'm all for like pests happening, but we have been seriously under attack this year. It's been really bad. I might have had a slight mental breakdown. You guys will see that. We caught that on camera. And it was over the jumping worms. It's making gardening really hard here. We have ordered some stuff. Some of you guys have said, what is it? Tea seed oil or something like that?
Tea seed meal.
Tea seed meal. We ordered tea seed meal after a bunch of you guys recommended that, and even a couple of you guys emailed me, which was really, really nice. So we ordered it, but it's not going to be here for weeks. I think we got like 2 more weeks until it gets here. And so we are going to try that. It is not recognized at like on the USDA or something like that for like killing jumping worms.
Yeah, it's not recognized.
It's a fertilizer, but it kills worms, and it kills all worms. So when I get it, I will actually go into detail about talking about it, and then show you guys how we're applying it, and I will show you guys what we're doing for it. It is going to kill every worm. That's going to make some people mad, but at the end of the day, the jumping worms are going to kill every worm regardless. So I might as well kill the jumping worms and then work on bringing back good worms after I get those guys under control.
And in all reality, it takes, from what I hear, it takes a year or 2 years to see results.
Yeah.
So you'll see a little change all the time, but it's going to take a year or 2 years. So it's going to be a little process.
Yeah, it's going to be a big process.
And the next question is from Brajavari, and they had asked, how much was it for the front yard garden slate walkway? I was thinking about doing something similar for a while. I just realized how similar our front yard profiles are. Even the same sun and shade, even the same small sidewalk in front of the window.
That's really funny. I think on the slate, I just bought the slate, and the slate was like $300 or something like that. Maybe 400 at most. This was years ago though. I want to say it was like $300, and this was like 4 years ago that we did this project. And then we just bought sand to put underneath it. Highly recommend doing that the first time, not a second time. How much did we spend on the sand?
Was it what, $10 a bag in 3 bags?
Like
we had to buy
$30.
a couple extra pieces of slate too.
We did, yeah. Because
we needed 3 extra pieces.
And I think we spent another like $20 on slate or something like that. I mean, we overbought when we just bought more Slate, and we spent like $50. But I think we bought like 5 pieces, so like they were roughly like $10 a piece, and I bought like bigger pieces because the Walkway had small pieces, and we decided like bigger pieces would be best.
Harder for a mole to lift up.
They still can lift them up.
They still can.
Oh, yeah. We spent like $300 on that Walkway. Just put sand down first, and then put your Slate on top of that.
And the next question is from Jules, and they said, "I see you have a lot of solar panels. I'd be interested in knowing if it means it actually saves you money, or do you pay monthly just to have the panels?"
So we do pay monthly to have the panels. I mean, we bought them, but they're on a loan, and we installed it 2 years ago or something like that, 2.5 years ago. We pay about $120 a month for our solar panel loan. Can I finish? Thank you. We pay about $120 a month for our solar panel loan. And then at the end, we could not get more solar panels. We wanted to get more, but we couldn't get more without upgrading our electrical box. And that was going to be like a $5,000 upgrade. And we had to pay for that out of pocket. And at that time, we didn't just have like, I mean, right now we don't have $5,000 just lying around to pay for that. But we didn't have $5,000 to just pay for an upgraded solar panel. And we had to redo, or not solar panel, upgraded electrical box.
Yeah, our circuit breaker.
A breaker box.
Our panel, got replaced.
We had to replace our breaker box to a bigger one, and then we had to rerun. We would have had to have rerun electricity to it to fit having more solar panels, and we just couldn't afford that at the time. So we went with as many solar panels as our breaker box could handle. So we pay $120 a month for our solar bill, and then our we have a true up at the end of the year, and we just got hit with our true up, and that's like a $2,100 true up at the end of the year. But we broke that down by 12 months. It's about $175 plus the $120, so it's $295 a month for our electricity. We keep our house cold, and we have a electric range. We have an electric dryer. We are 100% electric, and our house is always cold. Like, I want to be able to be under a blanket when it's 110 outside. So it's really cold. So it doesn't need to be this high. We have a next door neighbor who she does not have solar panels, and she has a propane tank. So she has propane for her stove, and I believe her dryer also, and her heat. And she was saying that their PG&E bill, or their electric bill, is like $500 a month. So yes, we are saving money even at $300 a month, and then we get hit, at the end of the year with that. So $120, and then we just put a little bit of money aside for the end of the year to pay that true-up bill. Yeah. So yes, it does save us money. Yes, I do think it was worth it. I do wish that we had been able to afford to upgrade our panel, so that way we could have had a larger solar bill. Even if we had a $200 a month solar panel bill, it would have been even cheaper in the long run. Yeah, I do think it's worth it. Do you?
I do too. Yeah. And the last question is from Rhonda, and she had said, "Robbie, your gardens are looking amazing. You and Brent have done so much work on this year on your garden. Question, please. Do you keep a garden journal, or do you just remember what you want to change or grow more of next year? Thank you for all of your videos. You are an inspiration."
I don't keep a garden journal per se. Honestly, I started YouTube to be my garden journal. So YouTube is my garden journal. That way I can look back and be like, yeah, I hated that plant. Or, okay, if that's right, we want to do this, we want to do that. I need to grow more of this. YouTube is really our garden journal. And I think it honestly helps that I don't now have like a day job per se, or a real job per se. That this is the job. And so I'm here with it 24/7, and I see it 24/7. I kind of always just know what needs to happen.
Yeah, because you're not spread so thin.
Yeah. I mean, if all you're doing is gardening 24/7 and it's your own garden, it's pretty easy, I feel like, to remember. And then if you're not only that, if you're then making videos and you're saying it out loud over and over and over again, it makes it really easy to remember.
Yeah.
If I wasn't saying these things out loud, and if I was just putting plants in my garden, there's no way that I would remember the names of 75-80% of the plants that we have here. I would be like, that's a hydrangea, that's a hosta, that's a this. I would never be able to ever remember, oh, this is this.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is very abnormal, and that's the only way that I remember what we actually have here.
All
gosh, she's very upset.
I know.
She's very wet. Wet butt.
Oh, wet butt. Yep. That's okay. That's okay. At least you're cool. And the next video was redesigning the greenhouse entrance so much better. And the first question was from Planty Mama Martha.
I like her name.
She had said, Robbie and Brent, first of all, the greenhouse is perfection. Chef's kiss. Question, instead of extending the current gravel and metal edging walkway back towards the secret garden, could you transition it into a stepping stone walkway with ground cover? I do love the gravel and metal edging, but I can envision the secret garden entrance looking more similar to the walkway you currently have below the mirror door or in the arbor in your garden. We do love some good repetition in the garden, don't we? Just a thought. Thank you for taking us all along in your gardening adventure. It's beautiful. I have truly enjoyed watching your garden grow and change and all that is what it is moments. Fantastic work, guys.
Thank you. Actually, after your comment, I think that's kind of what I've decided to do, is take some of the slate that we have, because we still have some leftover slate from the front yard and from the door project, and where it'll go from gravel. So I'll do kind of the gravel swoop around to where I want there to be an arbor, and then I'll do maybe a couple stepping stones right there, and then throw in some ground cover like we have. I think that'd be so pretty, and that would soften it up into the secret garden, which is not going to have any gravel walkways in there. It's going to be just dirt and plants, and it's going to be, I want it to be very free back there. I want that to be the most like cottagey, informal possible garden, and it's going to be mostly shade. Yeah, I think that'll be good back there.
Yeah, a nice merge from gravel to slate to
ground cover.
To ground cover, yeah.
Yeah.
And the next question is from Marilyn, and she had said, Robbie, why not put a fence line behind the greenhouse and plant climbing roses? Everything is so pretty. Question, do you ever deal with snakes?
So back there, it's going to be a little bit too much shade for roses. Where I have the iceberg rose and the Claire Austin climbing rose, that's already like pushing the limit on those guys. Honestly, like they haven't performed well this year because the willow tree is getting so big. And they may end up needing to move, if we're being honest, which is kind of a bummer. Yeah. But I mean, when I planted the Claire Austin, I kind of knew like, okay, it's not going to be permanent, but I'll be able to get like years out of it. And the years have come. It's been in the ground for, I think, 4 years now there, maybe 3 years or something like that.
It's doing okay.
And it just hasn't bloomed this year because it's not getting enough sun.
Yeah.
We got one flush. Usually by now we've gotten like 3 flushes of blooms on that thing. So I can't do roses back there. There's just not enough sunlight for those. And then we do not deal with snakes. We're very, very lucky that we don't deal with snakes here at all. I mean, if you go out into the fields, there's like rattlesnakes and gopher snakes and all the snakes out there, but I've never once seen a snake here.
No, we just have lizards and lots of lizards.
Lots of lizards, lots of toads.
Yeah, and lots
Brent
of toads.
chases the toads.
I like those. And the next question is from Susan, and she had said, I love how your garden area is evolving based on the location of your greenhouse. The secret garden is going to be so fun and interesting. I do have a question regarding your greenhouse. Why did you select a white frame versus a black frame greenhouse?
So originally I selected a black frame for the greenhouse. I was pretty set on wanting a black frame. My friend Chai Ming has a black frame and it's beautiful. I love her black frame greenhouse. But then I realized that we have a black fence and it would make the greenhouse kind of disappear. And that's not what I wanted for the greenhouse. I wanted the greenhouse to stand out. So I was like, well, I guess we have to go with a white greenhouse. Ma'am, you're doing the most. So I decided that we had to go with a white greenhouse. It was kind of like the only thing that was like, that'll actually stand out and you'll really be able to see the greenhouse shine. The black ones look stunning and I would have loved to have a black one. But yeah, we chose white because it would actually pop against the fence and against like the crepe myrtle background. Black would have just like completely disappeared.
Yeah.
And I wanted it to be able to shine. I also wanted to go with the white limestone down below. And I felt like it would have just made that foundation just like stark. You just would have like, it kind of would have been an eyesore. And so I would have then had to change it to like a brick foundation or something like that. So I'm really glad that we chose white now that it's in.
And the last question is from Barbara. And she had asked, I have Bermuda grass and despise it. How do you keep it from coming back?
You cry.
You don't.
And then you pull it.
Yeah.
If it's in your lawn, you're out of luck.
You just pull it.
You just
pull it.
pull it. If it's in your lawn, you are out of luck. We have it in our lawn. It's going to be in our lawn forever. But we used to have it in every single area that we have a flower bed was Bermuda grass. So the side area where now I deal with jumping worms, that was all Bermuda grass. The centered where the jelly beans are, Bermuda grass. Both beds on the side, the long beds, that was all Bermuda grass. And I have been able to get on top of it. I just hand pulled, and I hand pulled, and I hand pulled, and I hand pulled, and then I hand pulled some more. And I dug down, and you have to get all of the roots. And you're never going to get all of the roots the first time. You're never going to get all the roots the second time. Maybe the fourth time you will start getting all of the roots. But I dug down. There was one summer that I spent every evening when I got off work hand pulling, because I was like, I'm so tired of this Bermuda grass. It's going to kill my plants. And I mean, I've pretty much eradicated the problem anywhere I didn't want Bermuda grass. It still does come up occasionally, but now it's coming up in little pieces here and there, and it's easy to pull and maintain.
Still better than jumping worms. So we traded foxtails and Bermuda grass for Bermuda grass and jumping worms.
Yeah, we used to have foxtails really bad. That was terrible. And I looked like a crazy person, because when we first bought this place, one of our dogs, actually Sadie, she got a foxtail in her foot, and it had gone in, and her foot was all swollen, and we had to take her to the vet, and it was hundreds of dollars, and I was like, I'm not doing this again. And so I looked like a crazy person. I hand pulled every single foxtail in our backyard and in our front yard, and then I went through the entire property with a shop vac, and I vacuumed the dirt to make sure I got up every single seed. And then the next year, anything that I saw that started to emerge that was like foxtail adjacent, I pulled it. I said, no. And we haven't seen a foxtail since. So I look like a crazy person in the front yard with a shop vac vacuuming. It was our first year living here. And I'm sure the neighbors were like, what is happening? I didn't care.
No, it's worth it. We kind of sacrificed the shop vac because it doesn't really work so well anymore.
Not so great. Not so great. So that is going to be it for this video. Thank you for reading the questions.
Thanks.
Everyone told me he did such a great job. Actually, don't. He didn't love that. Just ignore him. Pretend like he wasn't here. Anyways, thank you guys so much for visiting our garden. I'll see you all in the next one.
Bye, guys.